Welcome back to yet another part of Higurashi when they cry. Onikakushi, yes. So when we left off, we got here early and all. Took an entire part just to do that pretty much. And so now we're finally talking to Mion and Rena.
Kei-chan? あんた何やってんの?
Swinging a baseball bat? Being bombarded with such a hysterical voice, I jumped.
ああ、ケイチ君、野球部だよ。野球部だよ。
How can you just act like nothing's happening? Like, seriously. It was Rena and Mion.
先に行ったって言われて驚いたけど、ケイちゃん、あんた何やってるわけ?
Everything's going to seem suspicious, let's be honest. Yeah, I clicked something apparently. How? Okay, there we go.
見てわからないかよ。素振りだよ、甲子園だよ。
Yeah.
別にダイエットでもいいぞ。
ダイエットってケイちゃん、そんなに太ってたっけ?
ああ、知らなかったろ。実は三段腹なんだ。もちもちでタプタプなんだぞ。もちもちでタプタプ。レナ、変な想像しなくていいぞ。
Disrupt Rena from imagining something that vulgar. I ruffled her hair messily. Maybe she thinks it's kawaii or cute.
じゃあまあ、頑張って県大会を目指してちょうだいよ。
Yeah.
おじさん応援してるわ。
I'm sure you will.
野球部の強い高校教えよっか?
And I wonder what your allegiances are anyway.
そこにいる左腕の亀田くんがすごいピッチャーなんだけどさ。頑張ってね。
Seems like they've already taken me for a baseball nut, but oh well. Well, if I really did make it to a championship, it would be a cinch. After all, I'd be the catcher and did I even say that right? I would be the pitcher and catcher. Like, just partway through the word, I just went completely blanked out on what I'd been saying. I had to pitch the ball, then run past the ball I just threw, and change over to being the catcher in a burst of a super incredible explosive speed. I laughed dryly at the ludicrous image. Coming back to my senses, I smashed the bat against the ground.
さあ、何笑ってんだよ、俺。
Yeah, you're kind of broken at the moment. I pounded the ground over and over. With each impact, the reverberation travelling through the bat stung my hands. If they smile at me like that, ow, don't allow anyone close to me. Don't trust anyone, no matter how many times I tell myself that. If they made me smile like that, I already knew quite well that there were demons dwelling in my smiling friends. But I just couldn't believe it. Did that kind of split personality really exist? I mean, look at yourself right now. You don't need any more proof? Like how Rena confessed to the doctor. Were they simply being possessed by Oyashiro-sama? In other words, did a supernatural being like Oyashiro-sama really exist? And was it possessing everyone and trying to kill me? Yeah, that would be wonderful. Don't you simply wish there was some supernatural being who was possessing people and wanted to kill you? Yeah! That would just be brilliant! If only everyone were actually my friends all along, and everything was all just Oyashiro-sama's fault.
前原圭一のバカ野郎！だから！
Personally, I'd prefer it if my friends were murderers. At least then, like, they're mortal and limited and restricted by things and all. Rather than having some supernatural being wanting me dead. I yelled out, drawing all the power from the pit of my stomach, and raised the bat violently into the air. As I screamed out with all my might, I beat the metal bat into the ground over and over. People are going to think you're crazy. Partially because you are crazy. With every impact, my weakness was being beaten down. Smash. Forget. Smash. Don't be soft. Smash. Know your enemy. Smash. Like hell I'd let them kill me. My shoulders heaving up and down from my ragged breath, I heard the first bell ring just as I calmed down. Okay. Gasp of a sudden realization. That was the final bell. As I felt all the tension, all of that tension draining from me, I let out a deep breath. Ugh. My mind was in a muddled state. Yeah, that sounds about right. For much of the entire day, I didn't feel like I was awake, but it didn't feel like I was asleep either. You know what? I was kind of feeling that today as well. Yeah, morning classes didn't work well with me. I couldn't say it felt especially comfortable, but I felt a kind of relief that the sanctity of the school part of my daily life had yet to be violated. How long would I have to keep on living like this? Yeah. I mean, it seems that they don't go all creepy with the other school people around. They keep it hush-hush and all and whispered. I could only grit my teeth and bear with it as this living hell slowly gnawed away at me.
Keiji-kun!
Uh-huh.
やろうやろう
Uh-huh.
部活の時間なんだよ。だよ
Uh-huh. The sound of Rena's voice brought me back to my senses. Yeah.
ほらほら、ケイちゃん、ぼーっとしない。机を寄せて寄せて。
Yeah. Everyone was moving their desks together as usual. I wonder if, like, we'll keep doing the games throughout the game. Yeah. That's right. It was Happy Fun Club time. Oh, joy. But I had no intention of taking part. Don't you want to, like, gain information or something? At the very least. Rika? I don't know. Can she be trusted? We haven't seen her creepy yet, but she's the one which I could most imagine creepy. I haphazardly stuffed the contents of my desk into my bag as I prepared to go home. Neon's going to say something, isn't she? It was a weak-handed gesture to avoid having to actually say, I'll be going home now.
なんだよ、ケイちゃん。今日も直帰なわけ？
Neon sounded quite disappointed.
気分が乗らないんだ。しばらくほっといてくんないかな。
The tone of the words that spilled from my mouth matched Neon's disapproving glare. It felt like the air in the room had dried out. Stoker looked like she was about to say something, but perhaps dissuaded by the mood, she swallowed her words and stayed silent. Nobody said a thing. Is Neon gonna get creepy now? I took that to mean that I could leave if I wanted. But the collective gaze of the four of them, like the tiny pins used to mount an insect in a display, held me in place. Rena was one who cut through the heavy mood.
ケイチ君、やっぱり女の子と一緒に遊ぶのなんか嫌だったかな？かな？
I'm pretty sure there's another reason. Rena, You should be able to tell, maybe. Maybe not. She said it in such a melancholic tone that it sent a wave of pain racing through my heart. If this pain was going to kill me, I wanted it to be the soft part of me that could still feel pain. I tore up my chest, violently tearing out the pins that held me in place.
そういうわけじゃねえよ。
I'd only been hurting myself by saying anything more. So I swallowed my words. Cutting things off there, I turned away and exited the classroom. They didn't speak a word to me as I left. But it would be a way of keeping check of things with them, group of them. It was a long, dull trip back home, but I didn't lose focus. I firmly squeezed the grip of the bat, which was already soggy from sweat. Realizing that, I wiped it down with my sleeve. If something were to happen, I wouldn't want it to be slippery. Since this morning, I'd become especially sensitive to the presence of cars. Well, it's not going to be a car again, though, let's be honest. Even while walking, my ears pricked up, and sought out threatening sounds and presences that could be closing in. And that was why I could hear it. Without a doubt, there were footsteps. Those footsteps had matched up perfectly with mine for a while now. From what I could sense, it was just one person. But I had no intention of being careless. Did they intend to follow me like that car this morning, until we were in a good location to assault me? Then it wasn't a good idea to keep walking like this. I stopped walking and looked back. The wooden path, crowded with trees, responded with silence, as if there was nobody there to begin with. But I wouldn't be fooled. I was certain footsteps were following me. And just as I stopped, the footsteps stopped as well. Meaning, the person following me wanted to keep their distance. That was, without a question, proof that I was their target. I held my breath, waiting for that presence to panic and start moving again. Trees rustled with the sound of the wind. The Higurashi also joined in with this dissonant chorus, trying to throw my focus into disarray. Had 5 minutes passed? Or had I been like this for a whole 30 minutes? You know, I think it's been about 30 seconds. It was so hard to breathe that I might have suffocated. It seemed I would be the first one to panic. Without a doubt, he was lurking in the shade of that tree with bated breath. Then, I'd make the first move. Fix my grip on the bat. I raised it up to my shoulder to be ready to swing it at any time.
Oi! いるんだろそこに!
With all of my might, I screamed at whoever was hiding in the shade of the trees. But the presence in the shade didn't budge. Till the moment I found them, they had no intention of revealing themselves.
わかってんだよ! そこにいるのはよ!
I screamed out angrily at them, but even still, they didn't move at all. Then I'd go over there myself. With all due vigilance, I approached step by step. I've got a bad feeling about this. Though I had a bad feeling about something else recently, and it was fine. That doesn't look so fine. Stepping into a tree shadow, I saw a human figure there. That figure was curled up like a small animal.
Lena!
Oh, okay. See, it wasn't a bad... maybe it is. But it wasn't bad, at least not immediately. When she realized I had found her, her expression softened. She seemed apologetic, but wasn't going to speak a word.
なんか俺に用かよ!
Did I accidentally click skip? No, it's fine. I wouldn't accept that silence and screamed a question at her.
別に、
Rena was in a panic with tears welling up in her eyes. But it was obvious that she had been following me.
部活はどうしたんだよ。
圭一くんがお休みしたから、レナもお休み。
関係ないだろ。俺なんか気にしないで遊んでろよ。
だって、圭一くんのこと心配で。
Now, before that came up, I was going to say, this is the part where she confesses to you or something, but no. Thinking about how I'd been acting up until now, it wasn't hard to imagine that my behaviour could have been perceived as strange. Really? Seren was concerned. At a quick glance, that's how it would seem. But I wasn't going to let my guard down that easily. Even if that really was the case, she still wouldn't have to do something like try to tail me. She should have called out to me when I was leaving and gone out right with me. That could be hard. But Rena didn't do that. She stalked you. She kept her distance from me and matched my walking speed. On top of that, she matched the sound of her footsteps and deviously tried to hide her presence from me. Then, after she realized I noticed she was there, she held her breath as she tried hiding from me. She wore a timid expression that would force one to take pity on her, but without a doubt, she was tailing me.
もうついてくんなよ。
Still glaring at Rena, I continued walking onwards. After I walked for a bit, she ignored my command and began walking again, so I yelled at her once more.
ついてくるなって言ってるだろ。
だってレナの家も同じ方向だし。
Yeah, that's certainly the reason why you're going this way, yeah.
じゃあレナが先を歩けよ。レナが見えなくなったら俺も歩く。
Moved out of the way and waved my bat violently to urge her forward.
レナは圭一くんと一緒に帰りたいな。
Oh, how cute. Making a pitiful expression, she meekly squeaked out the words in a voice that she knew would cut into my heart. What's with that smile as well? I'm not sure. If you look at the face on the whole, it can seem kind of creepy and like intended to be smiling. That agitated me to no end. I knew it was a lie. If you wanted to go home together, then you should have called out to me. Now you're just blurting out random lies. It seemed that the seething anger within me was written all over my face. Even without me saying anything, Rena had understood what I was feeling inside.
分かったならほら、行けよ。
I swung the bat, urging her again to walk. Rena looked back and forth between me and the bat and started walking hesitantly, then stopped again.
早く行けよ、早く。
Is this where she goes creepy? No.
行くから。そのバットやめてよ。
Whose bat was it?
怖いの。
Then again, she wouldn't know, because... No, she did know Satoshivo. It would have been when she first arrived. Rena guarded herself while pointing at me holding the bat. She may have realized that I wasn't planning on using this bat for baseball. I lowered the bat, but still guardedly opened the way for her.
行けよ。これなら文句ないだろ。
There was nothing else she could protest. She passed by me timidly, so as not to set me off. As I watched her pass by, she stopped completely after having barely moved at all.
おい、立ち止まるなよ。
Then a powerful gust blew past us, barraging my face with dust. The dust got into my eyes and clouded my vision. While rubbing my eyes with my left hand, I swung blindly with a bat in my right, protecting the small opening I had presented. But Rena didn't even try to attack during that opening. Attack me? No. She hadn't budged an inch. I can hear that music from the background. I don't trust you, music. I guess we continue? I could tell from the sound of her fluttering skirt in the wind. As her skirt settled, so did the silence. At that moment, the voice inside of me immediately warned me of impending danger. I was caught by surprise. The smell of the air had changed? Without me realizing it, the air around me suddenly felt like a calamity was about to befall me. It was like the air had suddenly become invisible concrete, like Rena and I were locked in this space. Rena didn't move an inch. Also unable to move, I stared at her back. Rena was the first to break the silence. Instantly, she altered her stance. Felt like I had just witnessed her shift from Rena into that other person who looks like Rena. Yeah, that's totally what it is. But the voice was one I knew well, which filled me with a kind of bewildering pity. Carelessly, I felt relief upon hearing that pitiful voice.
ごめんね。聞いてもいい?
Oh, I don't like how this is going. Too shy to even turn around, Rena squeezed her voice out desperately. Probably more like, not wanting to show her face, her evil, creepy-looking face, as she turns around. As she trembled.
なんだよ。
あのね。どうしてバットなんか持ってるのかな
'Cause you're scared. I clicked a button. The question Rena asked was by no means unexpected.
俺が何を持ってたっていいだろ。
でも、昨日まで持ってなかったし。どうして突然
Why did I have a sewing needle in my mochi?
別に突然でもいいだろ。
And yeah, I mean, if you're going to carry a bat, the day before you do that, you won't. The day after, you will suddenly be carrying around a bat.
俺がバットを持ってるとおかしいかよ。
It is kind of strange, though.
だって圭一君、野球とかしない人だったでしょおかしいよ。
I couldn't tell what kind of answer she was looking for, and I was getting tired of answering her.
突然、野球がしたくなったんだよ。それじゃおかしいか？
おかしいよ。
She answered instantly, and that annoyed me slightly.
突然野球がしたくなった。素振りがしたくなったから、バットを持ち歩いてる。それのどこが変なんだよ。
変。おかしい。絶対。なんで圭一君まで。
ぶつくさとうるせえやつだな。
Now that's interesting. Strange, weird, definitely. Why you two? Who else?
俺がスポーツに目覚めるのがそんなに変かよ。
Is she referring to like Satoshi, or is she referring to like Mion or the others? And like, does she not realize about herself? Maybe? Tried to sound a bit more threatening to end the conversation. Till my suspicions about Rena were cleared, I had no obligation to answer her questions.
ごめんね。 ね。そんなに怒らないで。
Rena still didn't turn around and spat out words of apology, one after the next.
最後に一個だけ。
Okay, this is where something's gonna happen.
一個だけ教えて。
That's just ominous.
これ以上話す気も教える気もねえよ。早く行けよ。
I yelled loudly at her, causing her to flinch like she'd been struck. Seeing her in such a pathetic state caused my heart to ache sorely. But even though she was afraid, she stubbornly kept herself from moving. Before I was able to threaten her again, Rena asked her final question.
なんでバットまで同じなの？
It's Satoshi's back. Bad. We knew that though, but still. What did she mean by the bat was the same? I had no idea what she was talking about.
お前、何言ってんだ？
Before Satoshi disappeared.
なんでバットまで同じなのかなって。
何を言ってんだか全然わかんねえよ。もっとはっきり言え。
She's worried you'll disappear too. Even still, Rena didn't turn around. After inhaling deeply, she screamed.
だから、どうしてバットまでサトシ君と同じなの？
サトシってえ？
Upon hearing that name out of the blue, I became dumbfounded for a brief moment. By Satoshi, did you mean the student who transferred out last year? No, that couldn't be. Rena had tried to cover it up by saying he transferred, but Oishi's son told me quite clearly that he was missing. He was the student who sat at my seat until last year. He was believed to have been demoned away by Oishiro-sama's curse. I didn't know the details about his disappearance. The aunt he lived with was killed the night of Onikakushi by a drug addict. Not long after that, he suddenly vanished, and was now missing. But Satoshi and I were... what? My gaze fell to the bat in my hands. Could it be? Satoshi Hojo. It was a bit difficult to see, but that was what was written on the white tape at the end of the bat. I mean... yeah. I see. So this was Satoshi's bat.
ああ、これサトシのバットだったんだな。誰も使ってなかったんでちょっと借りたんだよ。いいだろそれくらい。
そんなことじゃないの。
The way Rena said that made it seem like this bat was something that should never be touched. Like it was some sort of offering at a shrine, or a memento of the deceased. I could only stand there, perplexed and unable to respond. Rena continued speaking without waiting for a reply. Yeah. It's probably why Rika, stood at the entrance and kept talking, rather than actually leaving the room.
サトシ君の時と、どうしてそんなにまで同じなの？
Ren was talking about more than just the bat belonging to Satoshi.
サトシ君もそうだった。野球チームには入ってたけど、本当は野球なんか好きじゃない人だったのに。
So, what we've learned from this is Oishiro-sama really hates baseball. Either that or hates people who join baseball that don't like baseball.
それが俺とどう関係が？
That's totally how it is.
サトシ君もある日突然バットを持ち歩き始めたの。
Yeah, that's slightly creepy.
チームに入ってただけでスポーツなんかしない人だったのに。
Yeah, so it would seem that Rena isn't aware. What about it? I closed my mouth before I could say that out loud. Listen carefully, Keiichi. Rena is trying to sell us something important.
サトシ君もね、ある日突然一人で投稿するようになったの。ケイチ君みたいに。そしてね、ある日突然素振りの練習を始めたの。
Either that or she's making this up and it never actually happened that way.
圭一君みたいに。
But I think she's telling the truth.
そしてね、ある日突然バットを持ち歩くようになったの。
Because let's be honest, the truth is much more creepy than her lying.
圭一君みたいに。
She's worried.
そしてね、ある日突然。
Then one day he suddenly what? Rena had swallowed her words. Rena's sudden silence brought a hush back to the surrounding area. It was then that I could finally digest the contents of the entire conversation. She was saying my chain of actions was exactly the same as Satoshi's. That doesn't bode well for you, though. What was the meaning of this? Up until just now, I'd forgotten all about Satoshi. I'd never paid much thought to him in the first place. Not only that, I didn't even know anything of what he'd done. My actions today should have been my own creation, after all the planning I had done. But they had been the exact same as Satoshi's. Then Satoshi... No, more importantly, if both Satoshi and I acted the same, then there was a really good possibility that what happened after would be the same.
レナ、ある日突然、サトシはどうしたんだよ。
Rena knew. She knew what became of Satoshi. No, forget about what happened to a guy in the past. Rena knew what was going to happen. To me.
答えろよ、レナ。サトシはどうしたんだよ。
With that, I grabbed Rena's shoulders violently and forcibly turned her around to face me. And on that note, let's leave it there. We'll find out what face she's making next time. I hope you've enjoyed. Let me know any feedback you have in the comments, and I'll see you all next time. See ya.